Okay. Hi, Candace. How are you?
Fine, how are you?
Good. Thank you for coming on the show. It's nice to have you here. So, you're no relation to Nanny MacPhie, right?
Ooh, no, but I like her because she's a bit of a badass. So, but no, can't claim that.
Oh, she's great. I like those films, even though they're kind of kids' films. Her character was so good in that. And I like how the more the kids behaved, the more beautiful she got as it went on, like the warts fell off and yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah. I like her. She's strict and has some rules and it's good. I liked her a lot. I like those films too, watching them with my kids.
So, anyways, you've got a couple of books that we're going to be talking about, and it looks like on your bio these were COVID books, yeah? During the lockdown, you finally got around to writing those books you've been meaning to write.
Yeah, one of those well, just in my spare time. Yeah, they've been brewing in the back of my mind for a long time. But COVID was when I actually took the time and sort of lined up to the computer and sort of got to it.
Well, it's funny because we started this video show right at the beginning of COVID for that reason, because we sort of anticipated that there were going to be a lot of books coming out while people were locked down and sitting at home. Authors not only could they, well, not only would they have the time now to write, but they couldn't
Mhm.
get out to promote their books. They
Mhm.
canceled all of the book signings and all of that kind of stuff. So this was sort of a way to give authors a forum to promote their work as well.
Well, I like it too because, during COVID, any chance to connect was a good chance to connect. So it's nice that you did it. I like it.
I think a lot of people were feeling very isolated, certainly, during that time.
Yeah.
And
Yeah, yeah, I felt I have a team that I isolated with, and it still felt very lonely. So I could imagine, and if you didn't have that, it would be extremely lonely.
so, are you in Alberta?
I am just right near the Rocky Mountains. On the nice day, you can see them with especially now because we just had a big snowstorm. So snow-capped mountains, they're beautiful.
Well, without going into a lot of detail about how wonderful Alberta is, and when I was there, I remember uh, going to Banff, and
Yes,
yeah, so we're going to just waste the 15 minutes real quick if we go through that.
we could just go on forever about how beautiful it is. Yeah.
So let's pivot to your book. So you've got two books. It's Back in a Year series. Is That's the name of the series, right? Okay,
Correct.
and the
Yep.
one is Finding Color, and the other one is Life Strikes Back. Uh, these are travel books, or are they like humorous adventures while traveling?
Second,
The second
humorous
one. Okay.
adventures while traveling. Yes.
And this
Yes,
actually
yes.
happened to you? What's in the books?
Yes, yes. I left home with my backpack and traveled around the world for a year, and this is the real nitty-gritty adventures that happened while I was on the road.
So this was during the 90s, right?
Yes, before you had the world at your fingertips with your phones, and when everything was a little more you had to dig a little deeper to get information. So it was definitely a different time, which makes the story a little bit unique as well.
Okay, well, tell us a little bit about the first one, and then we'll pivot to the second one. So the first one, Finding Color, this was, well, I'm looking at the cover. This was England.
Yes, England. That's one starts was it actually starts in Greece and then it ends in Russia. So, and that one was really the it's got to start. The adventure has to start somewhere, and this for me was it was a couple of years after my mom's death, and I was still floundering in grief and just not sure what I wanted to do with my life. I didn't know myself. Being a caregiver for such a long time is difficult. It takes a lot out of you, and it takes a lot of time in your life. So yeah, so this starts off with me saying, okay, I need to live life a little bit differently, and then I head to England and I live in England for a while, and then I start the backpacking adventure. But my time in England is just riddled with cultural issues, and everyone speaks English, but it's not the same English. Pants and pants are not the same thing. If I say pants in North America and pants over there, it's completely different. So yeah, just making crazy errors, living in a really crazy flat in North London, and then getting ready for the big adventure. So that's book one.
Trousers versus underwear.
Yes, so trousers versus pants, because pants are underwear. So
Right.
when I told someone at work I was dropping my pants at the dry cleaner, she thought I was dropping my underpants at the dry cleaner and didn't talk to me for about 3 days because she thought I was a weirdo until I came back with my pants and showed them to her. And then she goes, "Oh, okay, I get it. We need to have a conversation about language." So.
Well, so what happened to the language between across the Atlantic? Something got lost.
Yeah, I don't know, but if I'd said to someone, "Oh, can you pass me my purse?" they would reach inside my purse and get my wallet and pass my wallet because wallet's a purse. I don't know, just somewhere along the way, the language just changed, and I think that's kind of what freaked me out in the beginning because I thought, "Holy cow! If I'm in England and I can't seem to find my way, how am I going to do this when I can't understand the language?" So that's when things get real.
Give me an idea of is the book sort of tongue in cheek? Is it humorous in that regard? First person written, yeah.
Yeah, yeah. First person, present tense, you take the trip. And that's why it's 5 books. I really tried I thought it was one book when I started, but when I really wanted the reader to take the trip and to experience everything from the crazy guy you meet at the bus stop to the train trip to the working in England and what it's like, it's a completely different work environment. So you experience everything. And along the way, there's a lot of self-discovery because I'm still, getting to know myself and grieving and understanding. And also there's a boy and he's not very nice. And there's another boy. And so there's a lot. It's tongue in cheek. It's funny. It's sad. It's cringy. I had such a hard time writing this book because I wanted to change so much of it because I was not very clever and I did some really ridiculous things. But I thought, well, I can't not put them in there because that's the interesting part. So there's a lot of growth in the main character throughout the book as well. So it does have it'll drag you up and down in terms of the funny and the cringy and the sads all the way through.
Well, personally,
That
for
was my
me,
goal.
I would prefer to read something like that because it's a human story as
Mhm.
opposed to a travel brochure, which could be a
Yes.
real sleeper.
Yes, this is not a travel guide. The feedback I have had is you do feel where you are. You get the feeling, you understand it, you can see it, you can put yourself in the position, but it's quick. It's a couple of lines and I dump you into a scene and then you go on and have the experience of being there. So it's not a travel guide. It's an adventure that you have and you go through, and it's sometimes I drag you through and sometimes it's a nice airy walk, but there's a whole bunch of different emotions that you go through for sure.
So, were you in your early 20s at this time? Yeah,
I was in my late 20s
late
because my
20s?
mom
Okay.
died when I was 50, when I was 22, and then I took a couple years to toll away and try to flounder through life, and I didn't do very well. So I kind of hit it a little bit later in life, but yeah. So, and that's in there too in terms of feeling old and why am I doing this? And it's yeah, so it's good. It's
Okay.
good.
So you said there's going to be 5 books. So the first 2 are out, but the rest are not.
Yes, the rest are there. They're formulated. They've basically got I went off my journals. So the sort of the shaping of the scenes and the sort of stories or sort of snippets are in there based on the journals. So that information's there, but it's not a story. I have to bring it together and understand where to amp up and amp down the story as you go. Because you don't want to hear the journals are like, there's some funny stories in there, but they need to be amped up in the right places.
Okay.
So, yeah.
Well, we've got just a couple of minutes, so I want to make sure we get book 2. So where does book 2 go? I mean, geographically, where does it go?
Yes. Yes, book 2 starts on a train in Russia and at the border to Estonia, and it goes all through the Baltics, through Poland, Czech Republic, down the coast of Croatia, Hungary, and then back to the Czech Republic. So it ends in the Czech Republic. So it's a tricky one because there's, I didn't even realize until I started writing it again how much difficulty there was. With the locals in terms of just men, like I'm going to be really honest, like harassment, and there's a lot of it in there. I didn't even put it all in, just the sort of memorable moments. But at this one goes up and down too. There's a lot of really funny interactions, way more penises than I ever wanted to see in my whole life. Just a whole bunch. I don't know what they're doing over there, but they like to show you what's going on. So yeah, lots of interesting interactions with different people, and this is the journey when you're getting into it. You're on the road and you're living life day to day in very crazy places. So that's what.
Well, at the time you were there, wasn't that area sort of all transitioning from the Soviet Union to being independent countries?
It was. I'm not sure in terms of the political.
Or you might have been there just after everything.
It was after and before any kind of euro, like everyone being on the euro.
Okay,
so it was
before
all
the euro.
independent currencies.
Yeah.
But it was a unique, anywhere we went, we couldn't tell anyone we'd been to Russia because they were not happy. Nobody liked Russia. So there's definitely some, even in Poland, they said, well, we don't like Germans, but we really don't like Russians. And I was like, okay, well, do not mention Russia anywhere. So it was, it was definitely an interesting time period to be there. And it was so different. The geography was very similar to home in terms of the trees were very similar. The landscapes was very similar, but it was a completely different experience. So it's an interesting trip to take for sure.
Okay, we've got 1 minute left. Can you give us a teaser as to where the other books are going to take us?
The other books, book 3 goes to Germany, goes to Oktoberfest, and then I go on this crazy sailing trip, and then I go to the Middle East, traveling around Jordan, Israel, and Egypt. Book 4 is a safari in Africa with 27 strangers from all over the world who have like a real affinity with curry, everything curry. And then book 5 is South Africa, Namibia, and Australia.
Wow, you really got around.
Yeah, in the nicest possible way. Yes, I did.
Well, Candace, thank you so much for coming on. We are out of time. The first book is called Finding Color. The second book is called Life Strikes Back. The series is called Back in a Year. Do you have a website that you want to give out?
I do. It's CandaceMacPhie.com.
Okay. And there's information about the books and all that on the website?
It's all there, information about the books and pictures from the trip and where to buy the books as well.
Great. Thank you for coming on. I know we could have gone on, but I think we gave people a good overview. Best of luck with the books. Hope they do well.
Thank you very much. It was lovely to be here today.